Hey guys and girls, I hope you're fishing this morning. Hey, before you get involved in this video we're about to show you, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell, subscribe to Jimmy Houston Outdoors YouTube. We're fishing this morning with Oklahoma University's bass fishing coach. No, that's really not right. He would like to be Oklahoma University's bass fishing coach. Actually, the baseball coach, great pitching coach, Skip Johnson. We're going to have a lot of fun. Hey, for great, cool merchandise, be sure you check out jimmyhouston.com. Let's see if Skip can catch a fish. I thought we were never going to catch one. I believe that you have. I'm fishing today with Skip Johnson, Oklahoma University bass fishing coach. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oklahoma University does have a bass fishing coach, but Skip's a baseball coach there at OU. I just had to say bass fishing coach because I believe he loves bass fishing as much as he does as baseball. I really believe that he does. That's a good way to start right there. That's a nice fish, barely caught.
Yeah.
But he's caught. Yeah, that's a good way to start right there. Yeah, watch those hooks now because I have had an Oklahoma coach or two get hooked in the boat with me. Billy Tubbs, as a matter of fact.
Really?
The late, great Billy Tubbs was doing a show years and years ago.
And we're supposed to kiss them?
Yeah, hold him up here and let me look at him. That's a nice fish. That's a good start right there. It's about a 2.5 pounder, 2 3/4. Good fish to start with right there. The old deep smoothie. All right, now we got a little fish stink on us. That's good. Oh, missed one. Missed him again. Finally got him. Must be at school right there maybe, because I got 3 bites right there. So throw right toward that tree right over there. Oh, he come off. Well, if there's a school, there should be some more with him. Yep. I dropped that down and just slow rolled it again, that impersonator, and another one grabbed a hold of it. Oh, nice fish too. He didn't grab a hold of it, he ate it. I can't even see the bait, it's gone. I mean, gone city. Gone city, come here, baby. Come up in this boat with me. Yeah. He ate that bait, he's got all the trebles in him. He's not hooked too bad if I can get out that one down there.
A little football right there.
Yeah, make sure you have needle nose handy. This bait that I'm throwing is a mimic impersonator made by Lucky Strike, and finally, we've been actually working on this bait for a couple of years, getting it really right. But finally, you can actually order the baits, and you can order them from Lucky Strike. The baits are $13.95, but they come with 5 inserts. You see these? This is a clear bait. It's kind of like a rattle bait. It has no rattles in it. It's a clear bait, and it'll actually sink. It'll sink at the rate of about a foot a second, but it's got an insert in it. And this insert, I got one of them laying right here. This is the insert right here. So the bait is totally clear, and you want to change colors, you simply change the insert. So I got to change from that color, which is kind of a little bit of a bass color, a shad color, baby bass color. I can change this color right here, which is called a splatter shad. And all you need to do to change the colors is just push on this back of the insert like that. That causes the tail to pop up, and you can take the insert out, just like that right there. And I want to change colors. And the bait, you can actually order them at Lucky Strike right now. I think it's $13.95, and you get 5 inserts. So it's like getting 5 baits, 5 different color baits for $13.95. So it's really a good deal. You can go to luckystrike.com, and Lucky Strike is L-U-C-K, and then a space, a capital E, and Strike, Lucky Strike. There's several lure companies, obviously, with the name Strike in them, which is a perfect name to have for a lure company. But that is a mimic impersonator, and we're actually going to build some other lures that are clear that we can put inserts in. But we've been a couple years developing this one and getting it right, but it's right now. It's right. And the guy that owns that company, great guy, you know, and he just didn't want to sell them until he had it right. But we got it right now. So you can go to luckystrike.com. I think we may even have them on jimmyhouston.com, I'm not sure. But you can go to luckystrike.com and order them $13.95 with 5 inserts, 5 different color inserts. So let's catch some more fish. Say there's a fish right out there. Ooh, it's a nice one. That's a nice one, Coach.
Yeah, he's pulling that drag out.
Oh, look at you have 2? You have 2. You have 2 hooked on there. You have 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think either that or there was another one with him, but I think you have 2. No, you have 1. I think you had to. I think you had both those fish hooked. That had to have been what happened, because we're in the same spot where I was getting those bites. So
Let's
that's
see him,
the
baby.
deal.
Come on.
Yeah, you had. I believe both those fish were hooked on there. I think you had 2 of them. That deep smoothie is a fish catching son of a gun. I'm telling you. That's a nice fish right there. I
Yeah.
think the other fish was exactly the same size, and I believe he was hooked. I think you had both of them.
I think I might have had both of them too.
It looked like it, didn't it?
Yeah.
Either that or he was just fighting to try to get a hold of it. But I think you might have had 2 fish on there. I've caught 2 at a time a lot. On that Alabama rig, I've only caught 3 one time on it. And I had a 4-pounder, a 6-pounder, and a 3-pounder. It's got five hooks on it. That's a good fish right there. Almost 4 pounds probably. Almost 4 pounds. We'll take those any day of the week and all night long.
Yeah, every day of the week.
All night long. Right out in front of that tree, that water drops
Yep.
off into 12 foot. And they're right there on that drop off. There's a school of fish right there. That's a nice fish here too, feels like. Handling him pretty easy. I love it. Not as big as I thought he was. He's just strong. He said, I'm mean, Jimmy. I'm a mean mother bass. Not bad, but I mean, thinking he's a 4-pounder like you just caught. That's what I was thinking. I wished he'd come off. He'd have been a 4-pounder like you just caught. Nothing wrong
It's
with
a good
that
fish.
Nothing wrong with that fish. Come here, Sugar Bear. I just talking about picking up a plastic worm and throwing a worm around in here too. These fish, a bass do not actually lay on the bottom. A lot of people, you catch bass near the bottom, but they actually don't lay on the bottom.
They're more suspended.
Yeah, they suspend all the time, and people say, well, I'm catching them on the bottom, catching them on the bottom. Well, you might be catching them near the bottom, but if you're catching them on the bottom, they're catfish, they're not bass. But they get near the bottom, and they use the bottom structure, obviously. Most of those really big fish that we catch in the wintertime, some of them are suspended over 50, 60 foot of water.
Wow.
They'll only be 10 or 12 foot down. We catch them. Look how fat that fish is.
Yeah, he's fat.
Yeah. Thank you, Sugar Bear. Well, Skip, I'll have to make another throw or two before I get the worm rods out.
I'm all right.
How big? Looks like a pretty nice one.
It's about like what we were catching.
Another nice one. Is he by himself?
Yeah, he's
We've got a whole school located here. We got a school of nice fish, and we're gonna get us a big one out of that school in a minute. I bet you 5 or 6 pounds. That's a good one right there. Nice fish. I love it when you find a little school of them in the spot. You can set and just fish that spot over and over and over.
over and over.
And just keep catching them. And we can change baits and probably catch them after they quit biting these baits we're throwing. That deep smoothie and this impersonator.
Come on, baby. I think I could get the hook out of her.
He ate it good, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. That's a good fish.
A really
What's
good
this bait called?
one. That's called a deep smoothie. It's an American original, made in Greenwood, Arkansas, made over in Fort Smith.
Well, you've done it
It's a
first
Lucky
for me.
Strike.
I've never fished.
Yeah, it's a lucky strike lure.
I've never fished crankbaits too much before.
Oh, they're
It's usually
they're fish catching dudes. That's my
usually
favorite one
worms.
right there. That deep smoothie. No, it's a bass. That's a bass. Oh, pick up that Lucky Strike worm and catch a fish. I knew we'd do this. We could. It's not a big one. Around where these fish are schooling, we get that worm down there. We catch a few on that too. Fishermen, why are fishermen like that? Anyway, Skip, we're catching them on a deep smoothie and an impersonator. Pretty nice fish. An impersonator. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna pick up a worm and fish with it. Doesn't make sense, does it?
No, it doesn't make
Does
sense.
not make sense. What are we thinking of? Woo-hoo, that's a nice fish. What we're thinking of is a way to catch them faster,
Oh.
right? Ooh, that's a nice one right there. You got one too, don't you?
Yeah, a little big one. It
Mine
hit
bigger than yours?
It is
That's
a
a
little
nice
bit
fish
bigger than
right there.
mine. I think
This
mine-
one wasn't pulling
Mine's
real hard
pretty.
at first.
This one right here is pretty feisty.
I'm not throwing him back till I see. He just thinks he's big.
Yeah, he does.
He's not. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight and the dog, right? Is that right?
Yeah, what did Secretariat say?
My dog can outfight yours, I got to tell you. Very nice, very nice.
What did Secretariat say?
I am loving it.
The heart was 2 sizes bigger.
Yep. See, I got way back out here toward the boat, which is where that school was. Oh, wow. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He jumped 3 foot out of the water. I mean, 3 foot out of the water. I did it again. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Oh, my gosh. Oh, half my worm's gone.
He means he is hungry.
All my worm's gone. I saw half of that worm fly off. I saw half of it still on the line, and then it flew off. Oh, come here, baby. That's what I'm talking about right there. Plastic worms. Ah. I know I bent that barb down. Yeah, smooth as a baby's bottom. That's a nice bass right there. Skip, that's good right there.
Yeah, it is.
I love it. I love it. Boy, they're right there. They're right there. That's another good one too. Oh, it's about 2 pounds. They're strong, aren't they?
Yeah, they're strong.
Come here, baby doll. This is pure fun. That's just what I'm saying. Something wrong with somebody that don't like fishing in their Skip.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Come here, doll. I almost let him swallow it. Golly, Jimmy, how deep is he? Here's the advantage. Here's the advantage right here of having barbless hooks. Here is the advantage of having barbless hooks. Watch this right here. Because he did. This is a fish that a lot of times you would kill. You miss him.
Yep.
But once you get down there, and if you can get a hold of that bend in that hook, you should be able, because it doesn't have a barb in it, just to turn it. I can get my pliers down there and get a hold of it. Oh, he swallowed it further down. That was a bad deal. Turn it just a little bit and it turns right out. Not bleeding, nothing. Save your life, Dr. Jimmy. Go tell your friends. Call on Dr. Jimmy. This is what they call a Texas rig. You need some worms, or
Yep.
is that the color you're using?
Yes, sir.
Take your whole package. A Texas rig, when you hear people talking about a Texas rig, this is one of the, not the original way to fish a plastic worm. And when I'm using an 8-inch worm, 8-inch Lucky Strike worm, so when you mess up the head of it, you can just actually bite the head of it off and eat the worm. Eat what now you got a brand new piece to hook on too. But we started fishing worms on jig heads to begin with, and then somebody come up with a Texas rig. And a Texas rig has got what they call a slip sinker, and you can see that it's a slip sinker because it slips up and down on the line. You want to rig that with the pointed end to the front, obviously. That way it can go through brush and stuff like that. This end here will set down on your worm. And then you tie your hook on, and here's the way you rig this thing. Now, we skin hook them nowadays. The original way we rigged a Texas rig was to stick the hook all the way through, but you just want to go in not very far, just about a 1/2 inch, 3/16, a 1/2 inch, something like that. You come up here and you come around, and I'm using a kale bend type hook. And you come around like this, so you just got that hooked right in there, and your line's right here. And we'll come around right where the bend of that hook is. You see where the bend of that hook is? Now, here's the way we used to fish a Texas rig. We used to simply come back here and scrunch it up a little bit and stick the point of that hook down in there, so it was in like that. One of the problems was just like that, it's hard to get it really right where it's going to hang straight. Plus the fact, now this is weedless. This is a weedless rig. Your weight's up here like this. It's weedless, but it's hard to get your worm. See how difficult it is to get it straight. Plus the fact that you have to, when you set the hook, drive that through that worm. And we started going ahead and pushed it through and then backing it up. And then somebody, and it wasn't me, I'm not that smart, somebody come up with the idea, and this is the simplest, this is the best way to do it. come up here and right where that bend is, put your thumb right there where that bend is, and stick the hook right straight through that worm. Now you're all the way through and your hook's exposed. Now if you're fishing around sand or pea gravel, or you're not fishing around brush where it's going to get hooked up, just leave it like that. Leave it with your hook exposed. If a fish gets a hold of it, you're going to catch him almost every time. But if you're going to fish around brush to make that weedless, we're simply going to come up here and just skin hook the point. We call it skin hooking the point back in there. Now it's still weedless. See, I can't get my finger hooked. Go right across it. When a fish bites, he's going to squeeze that down, push that skin hook off, and you're going to be able to hook the fish. So that's the best way to Texas rig a worm right there. And just a good rule of thumb. Now you see how easy it is to get it straight, and you want it straight because it goes more natural in the water. Plus the fact that it won't twist your line if it's straight like that. A good rule of thumb: use as light a slip sinker as you can get away with. Sometimes that's an ounce, but usually you can, probably a 3/16 is about a good all-around size if you're fishing around grass. Lighter slip sinkers seem to get you more bites, but you need to be able to get that thing down deep too.
Yeah, I did the same thing, Jimmy.
There you go, baby doll. Boy, there's a wad of fish out there in there on the edge of that grass. I mean, actually how Skip and I found these fish was with crankbaits. And that's one of the things you can do a lot of times. Your crankbait can cover an awful lot of water, a lot more water than a plastic worm. And once you find the fish, then you can, and now you got him hooked right. You got him hooked correctly. That's the way to hook him, the way Skip did. He's coaching me there.
I don't know about that.
Think he can teach me how to spin a baseball?
Oh, I can do that.
I got pretty long fingers. They're not quite long, as long as they need to be, probably. I was a second baseman.
You were?
Yeah, my hero goes back to, you got to be really old to know who he is. Charlie Neal. That's a pretty fish. Charlie Neal, second baseman for the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Really?
That's how I become a Dodger fan. He played second base, and I played second base, and he had home runs. That was back when middle infielders was like my size. They weren't 6'3" or 6'1" like Corey Seager and stuff like that. Jeff Kent. If I was playing Little League ball when Jeff Kent was playing second base, Jeff Kent would have been my hero. Jeff's my hero anyway. He's a good bow shot. I mean, he's an outstanding bow shot. We fish and hunt with Jeff, but played second base for the Giants and the Dodgers, both teams. But Charlie Neal hit home runs. He was a little guy. He's 5'9", 5'10". I'm 5'10". I think he was 5'9". And they talked to him about why. And he didn't hit 35 a year or something, but he hit 20 home runs or something. And middle infielders just did not hit home runs. I mean, they just weren't big enough to hit them. And they asked him why he hit them, and they said he works on his wrist. He had strong wrist.
Yeah.
He said it's not my size or how strong I am, but I have very strong wrist. And he said when I make contact and barrel up, a strong wrist drives that ball out of the park. And so I'm a second baseman playing Little League and then playing high school ball and everything. And I think, man, I got to have strong wrists. So I started doing these lifts and everything with my wrist. I still do them. I still use a 10-pound dumbbell. And it turned out that the most important thing in fishing is your wrist, setting the hook and casting all day and all that. And I was training myself to be a great fisherman. I thought I was training myself to hit a home run. Yeah. I still couldn't hit home runs. I still didn't hit them. Every now and then I'd get one out there. I got a better chance hitting one inside the park than outside. But that's how I become a Los Angeles Dodger fan. And there's probably two of them in Oklahoma, me and Toby Keith.
That's right.
That's it. There's really more than that because my whole family's Dodger fans. You got him?
Yeah, I got him.
Good one?
Yeah, he's
Oh yeah, good. Oh yeah. Everyone I see out there I think's 5 pounds. And we hadn't caught quite a 5-pounder yet. Awful close, but not quite. We're catching these fish. Oh, that's the biggest one we caught. That's a 5-pound fish there. I thought when I saw him out there he looked 5 pounds. Yeah, that's the biggest one we caught. I believe you better thumb him. I know. You want me to get him? Since you can't bend over good?
Yeah.
If he comes off, it's not my fault.
You got him.
Bring the list up. Oh, dang, and he did. Ooh, you better retie. Look at that line. Oh, my goodness, look at this fish. Woo-hoo-hoo! 6 pounds. How's that? What do you think? What do you guess?
It's a good fish. I know that.
I figure you guess 6'10". Beauty. Look how fat she is. Wow. I knew if we just kept catching them, we were going to have to tag a big one here in a minute. We just had to. But you know, how many of those nice 2 and 3 and 4 pounders have we caught before that big girl? And you know we've had a bait around her because we've fished here in the same spot for 2 hours. One of the baits that I caught a lot of fish on today was the Mimic Impersonator. And this is a bait made right here in Oklahoma that we've actually, the guy that developed this bait, Lynn White, I've been helping him work on this bait for quite a while, and lo and behold, he bought Lucky Strike Lure Company, who I've worked with for a long time. This is a clear bait. It's got inserts in it, and it allows you to change colors without changing lures. Now, the only thing that you ought to think about in doing that is you need to make sure you retie your line pretty frequently. Because if you can change colors so instantly, you might fish 3 or 4 or 5 hours with this bait and just change colors of inserts, not retie your line. If you do that and your line gets damaged, you're going to lose your lure and everything, and your insert that you got in there. But it's a clear lure. I put the red eyes in it like I put in every bait because I just believe it really helps to have some red on every bait. But then you can make this bait whatever you want to inside. All you need to do is slip an insert in. Now, it comes packaged like this, and I think that they're selling them through their website, and we're selling them through the Jimmy Houston website. 1 lure and 5 inserts. So you have 5 different color lures, and I think the retail price is $13.95. The cool thing about this bait, when you look at it in the water, and I'm just gonna stick this insert back in it, and all you do to stick the insert in is you just stick it down in the slot, slide it to the front, and the back end will be up, and you're gonna lock it by pushing down. It locks in this little slot in the bottom, and it's locked in, and that won't come out. This bait, the secret of this bait and why it's such a good fish catching bait, it's got a real wide wobble. Look at it, look at that bait in the water, look at that bait. The bait just got that real wide wobble. It has no rattles, it's a silent bait, so it works really good in clear water. And the other thing is you can fish it at any depth. If you throw it out there and just let it sink, it'll sink at about 1 foot per second. So if you want to fish it about 5 foot deep, throw it out there and you can wind it fast, you can wind it slow. It's like a hot spot or a rattle trap that we call them idiot baits because any idiot can catch fish on a bad bait. But you just throw it out there and wind it in, you wind it slow, you wind it fast. This is the same type bait. The Mimic Imitator, I'm telling you, get one in your tackle box, you'll put it on the end of your rod and you'll leave it there for a long, long time.